Hello. So I want to tell you the story about how one day I was just scrolling on Book Talk, well, on Instagram, to just see what was going on. And all I would see non-stop was all this talk about Throne of Glass and how amazing it was and all this cool fan art and all this stuff. And, I just started thinking, like, what can I do about this? And so obviously the solution to that is going to be to, to buy the entire series without reading the first book, obviously. So now I own the Throne of Glass series on my Kobo and I will be reading that today. Hello, welcome back to another vlog. Today I have finally done it. I am finally reading Throne of Glass by Miss Sarah J. Maas. And I am so looking forward to reading this series and vlogging the whole experience. I wanted to try it out, so I started reading a little bit just to see if this is something that I am gonna like. And I am in love already with the Throne of Glass book 1. And so I know that this is going to be a great series already, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to be reading the whole series on my Kobo because I'm actually leaving for work in a week. And so I am going to be away for 4 months, and it's just not feasible to be bringing with me like actual books. And hopefully I can read the whole series in that time frame. So one thing that's kind of funny is I bought the 8 books in one version, which means that all the books are kind of treated as one book. So the Kobo tells you how many hours you have left and how many pages. And because the Kobo kind of thinks this is one book, it has told me that it's going to take 148 hours for me to read the series. I have a lot of reading to do. Using the page size that I have, it is like 6,900 pages. So looking forward to this. Good morning, and let's talk about some of these characters while I cut some cake for breakfast, because why not? So honestly, I was so impressed with how Selene, and I'm gonna say it's Selene because that's what it said online, even though it should be Selena, but anyways, how Selene was written, because she is like what Poppy from Blood and Ash was trying to be, with a lot of like female main characters who are supposed to be really powerful. I find that it's usually cringe, like it usually doesn't work out because there's a lot of bark and no bite. But in this book, the author really could have just simply gone off of the main character's reputation and nothing else. But I think that Selene's character being this powerful assassin was so believable and such a well-written part of her character, and I love her so much. Like, I really love her as a main character. She's got both the bark and the bite. And I also love that it's really realistic how she recovers from Endovir to afterwards. Like, obviously she hasn't been eating properly. She's maybe not going to be the strongest individual, and we get to see that struggle. So moving on to Dorian. Dorian gives me very much Cardin Greenbrier from The Cruel Prince vibes. They're both princes. They're both kind of treated as jokes, as potential heirs to the throne. Very popular with the ladies, and they kind of throw themselves towards them too, not only these women wanting to be with them. And they don't know how to flirt, they only know how to tease. In those ways, the characters are very similar. Yeah, I think he's like kind of sweet when he was responding to her letter and giving her these books in the beginning. It was very sweet. I like Dorian. He's definitely more of a dreamer and not a fighter. And then Kale. Kale, definitely I have mixed feelings about, because he is a lot of bark and no bite. His power comes simply from his rank. He's not as believable. Like, he gets respected because of his rank, but I feel like I don't really know why he got put in that position, because I'm not really seeing anything from him in that regard. Yeah. I don't know. That's what I think of the character so far. I love Selene. I love her so much. She's an amazing character. She's worked for and earned everything. that she has. Like, she worked for her reputation. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's really good.
Love to stay, but you know that I got plans. It's never something I expect you to understand. I'm always hoping you're gonna figure it out. The negativity, baby, it brings you down. Asking for help isn't showing people you're weak. Mean, I don't know, but I'm thinking it's what you need. Being alone isn't good if you never breathe.
Okay, I am finally at the long-awaited duel to see who becomes the King's champion. So I'm very excited about this. Hopefully there's some drama. Obviously, hopefully, and I'm sure Selene is going to win. But we'll see. Hello. So I have finished the first book a couple hours later of the Throne of Glass series. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I really liked this book. Honestly, it's hard to come up with a critique for it because this is exactly the kind of book that I've been looking for. So honestly, I'm just like so relieved to have entered a fantasy world that I love with characters I can get really attached to. So I really needed this and I'm having a great time with it. I will say, obviously, I know some things based on what I've seen over Instagram, and some spoilers are kind of hard to avoid. And there are so many characters I do not know. Aelin, I thought that was the main character. Like, I have no idea. I've never heard about this Selene character, just this Aelin, so, you know, a little suspicious. I just feel like there's so many characters who I just don't know yet, so I'm excited to see how that becomes a thing. And I think the book wrapped up nicely, but at the same time made me excited for the second book, which I will be starting today, you best believe. And yeah, honestly, I gave it a 5 stars. I was so addicted to this book. I could not put it down. I was reading all day. When Dorian got her the puppy, I was beyond obsessed. And I really grew to like Kale. I did not really love him, but I've grown to enjoy him and his presence in this book. Obviously, I've got to start the next book now, but definitely love this. I'm excited to see what happens with magic, because magic has an interesting role in this book where it's very much a horrible thing. I'm surprised there's not a character yet who is like in hiding or whatever with like magic, but obviously there's like 7 more books or whatever to see if that happens. But yeah, I'm definitely starting Crown of Midnight right now.
Tell me it's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. It's too loud now, wanna come down. You never liked being high anyway. Cutting through crowds, trying to stand out. That's a turn off anyway. I'd love to stay, but you know that I got plans. It's never something I expect you to understand. I'm always hoping you're gonna figure it out. The negativity, baby, it brings you down. Asking for help isn't showing people you're weak. Mean, I don't know, but I'm thinking it's what you need. Being alone isn't good if you never breathe. Tell me it's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. It's nothing, but I know you can't sleep.
Good morning. It is an absolutely beautiful day today. It's gorgeous out. So obviously that means I need to go and read outside. And I was super tempted to read The Assassin's Blade, which is like the prequel technically. And I just really want to meet Sam. But unfortunately I did message a bookstagrammer who I have been DMing, who's very sweet. And I asked her, because she has read Throne of Glass, if I am allowed to read The Assassin's Blade when I'm only on the 2nd book. And she said no. So I'm gonna listen to her. But yeah, I am really tempted to read it. All right.
It's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. Tell me it's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. nothing but I know you can't sleep. It's nothing but I know you can't sleep. It's nothing but I know you can't sleep. Sleep, sleep. It's nothing but I know. It's nothing but I know. It's nothing but I know. Tell me it's nothing but I know you can't sleep. 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 Sleep, sleep. It's nothing but I know you can't sleep. It's nothing but I know you can't sleep. It's nothing but I know you can't sleep. Sleep, sleep. It's nothing but I know you can't sleep. It's nothing but I know you can't sleep.
Two things. One, I know who Aylin is. And two, I'm in love with Ko. Selena just got back from her little snoop around Davis's office with Archer. And, you know, if you know, you know. But basically, he's literally so sweet. I can't. Bo is whining. So that's annoying. But yeah.
It's nothing but I know you can't sleep. It's too loud now. Wanna come down. You never liked being high anyway. Cutting through crowds, trying to stand.
Reading Throne of Glass in the sun at a beach. So I'm thriving, if I do say so myself.
Love to stay, but you know that I got plans. It's never something expect you to understand. Always hoping you're gonna figure it out. Your negativity, baby, it brings you down. Asking for help isn't showing people you're weak. Mean, I don't know, but I'm thinking it's what you need. Being alone isn't good if you never breathe. Tell me it's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. 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 Tell me it's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. 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 Tell me it's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. 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 Sleep, sleep. It's nothing, but I know. It's nothing, but I know. It's nothing, but I know. Tell me it's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. 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 Sleep, sleep. It's nothing, but I know you can't sleep. It's nothing, but I know you can't sleep.
Hello. So in case you missed it, I moved to a national park in Canada. This is kind of going to be the new setup, this little apartment here. Yeah. But I have not had as much time as I would have liked to be reading. But that's my plan today, because today I have the whole day off to do that. And so right now I'm on chapter 44. So I have a few more thoughts since I last checked in. Here, I'm gonna move here. I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce this right, but the weird marks, that is a very predominant part of the plot in this book. And in the last book, it was mostly about the competition, and the idea of these weird marks were introduced very lightly. The plot in the last book about the competition and just getting to know everyone, I found to be way more interesting than the second book, which is mostly kind of, it seems like all over the place. I just find it's kind of hard to keep up with different aspects. You know, we're dealing a lot with like royal families who have existed, you know, hundreds of years ago. I was surprised because I really thought that I would like this book more than the last book, and that seemed to be the general consensus on Goodreads too, is that the second book was like amazing and the first book was just good. So I'm unfortunately a little more leaning towards the 4 stars compared to my 5 stars in the last book, but I'm still having a great time. It's also hard because I feel like there's no ships, you know what I'm saying? Like, we keep building these relationships, friendships too. Everything keeps getting destroyed, and then we make new ones, and then it keeps getting destroyed, and then we make another one, and then it gets destroyed. So honestly, like, it's exhausting because we're dealing with like the same 4 characters and we're just like constantly shifting the relationship status. But I do hope I'm going to finish, but we will see, and maybe my mind is going to be changed. Right now I am in an intense scene and it was getting very complicated, so when I was reading last night I was like, I'm gonna put the book down because I'm not going to be able to keep up with these details. So yeah, if you know, you know.
That's a turn off anyway.
Okay, I just finished Crown of Midnight, written by Sarah J. Maas, and the ending alone was such a great setup for the next book and filled with literally so much jaw-dropping information. And for that ending alone, I feel like my hesitation with the 4 star, like this book, everything had a purpose and it just wrapped up so nicely at the end, but left so much space for the next books to go, and I am so excited to start reading it. And honestly, 5 stars, but I'm gonna talk more about it probably tomorrow. Hello. So yesterday I had finished Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, but I did not have that much time to really talk about my thoughts. But I did think it was an amazing book, and I'm really excited to continue. And it was a lot of information, but it wasn't given to me in like a boring way. It was like discovered, and like we got to learn things with the character, but then also we got to find out some like crazy cool things. So it was very exciting, a good read, and we got to see the king's perspective in a chapter through his eyes, and that was really interesting. It was honestly one of my favorite parts because like it made him like a little more human. He's still obviously like a horrible person, but I've been like picturing him as like some like crazy powerful like being, but like he's really just like a human who just is the king, you know? Yeah. I've definitely grown to really love all the characters, and I think we got to see more of Kale in this book and more of Dorian in the last book, and we got to see Kale at his best and at his worst, and I still think that he's just a good guy who's just trying his best, and I think that Selene and him will always be friends, and same with Dorian. I think honestly in the end of this series I cannot see Selene with either of them, but I think that they're really important people in her life. Yeah, I love the dog making an appearance in like every chapter. I'm just so happy because like this series is exactly what I was looking for, and it's been keeping me so addicted to reading, so I'm very grateful for that. And this is gonna be like part 1 because it's getting a little bit long. So yeah, I read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and I'm starting Heir of Fire today. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.